channel. I've always been curious to know more about vinyl wraps. And myself, I'm more of a do-it-yourselfer type person. I don't like paying people to do things I'm capable of. So what we're looking at today is, can you do a vinyl wrap by yourself in your garage with no experience? So what we're doing today is a vinyl wrap for the roof of this truck, purchased online from Vivid, and let's see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. What we're going to be doing before we begin this video is go for a little run, and I'll explain why here in a minute. You ready? I'm leaving without you.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye. All right, so we're just back from the run, and I'm going to explain real quick the reason why we are going to be running in 6 weeks. We have a race that's 197.1 miles from one side to the other of the big island of Hawaii, and I'm running anchor. I got the longest, hardest legs to run during that race, and we're gonna be running every morning and afternoon, hopefully for the next 6 weeks in preparation of that. So wish me luck. All right, so first off and foremost, we're gonna give this truck a nice bath. It's been a few weeks. Not really, been a week or two. So we're gonna give it a bath first, then we'll get started on that wrap. Truck, but we might wait a little bit to wash this thing because it will rain on me. So we had a slight rain delay in washing the truck because it decides to rain suddenly on a beautiful clear day as soon as I pull my car out to clean it. So in our rain delay, where are we heading?
Costco.
Why?
Because we ran out of diapers.
We need diapers. We're on a diaper run. We're at Walmart now. All right, babe, you got the kid? Ready? Go. And we're back. Tag back in. Let's go home finally so I can wrap this top. Gonna go fast again? He does? See, we slow back down, hates it. So before we begin, I'm going to explain a little bit what's currently on that truck and the reason why we are wrapping it in the first place. So what's currently on there is something called Plasti-Dip. It's a sprayed rubberized coating. Comes out kind of like a paint can, and I have an example here in Plasti-Dip. And it's worked great. Now the surface that was applied with Plasti-Dip, it was a large surface, so unfortunately it did create a lot of those tiger stripes. Just does not look clean. It doesn't look like a clean finish. So I made the decision to try to wrap it. I'm going to show you currently the Plasti-Dip that's on there, a little bit of a removal process of the Plasti-Dip, and then see how this wrapping technique goes. We got a little bit of deconstruction to start with due to the fact that I do have one of those shark fin antennas on the roof. So we're going to have to pull some of the paneling off on the inside, pull down the headliner a little bit, unhook that antenna, pull it out, and then remove the Plasti-Dip. So let's get going on that right now. part always makes me extremely nervous because this is a 10-year-old truck. We do live in a tropical climate and heat is a factor. And plastic is not a fan of 1, time, and 2, heat. So depending on how brittle this plastic is determines if it's going to break or not. So we'll see how this happens. Oh, there we go. That was a good one. All right. If you're looking on how to remove that shark fin, much easier. Remove the sun visor here. There's 3 Torx bolts, 1 bolt there at the pillar, 1 bolt here, and then you're able to move this headliner down enough to get your arm in there. And when you get your arm in there, you see that little bit of light, that is where the shark fin antenna sits. Now, just get a 10mm wrench. Here's that bracket piece that came out. It sits up like that into the shark fin. You pull that bolt out. This bracket here, you pop that down, and that shark fin comes right out. So, much easier. Okay, so that third brake light is now out. Let's go ahead and try to pull this plastic up off. So, take the final look. This is the before. Let's cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. So this is the plasti dip. This has been on here for about, let's say about 4 months now. So that's the plasti dip. It's just a rubberized coating that you spray on. But it's done pretty well. The paint is still in good condition underneath it, so there's been no harmful effects on that. Alright, so that took absolutely forever. If you are to use plasti dip, it's great if you apply enough. So if you are to use it, especially one of these rattle cans, make sure you put enough product on the surface. If you don't, the removal process is absolutely miserable. If there's enough, it comes right off. It's no problem at all. So that's that. It's done. It's off. Next steps for the truck is to, one, we got a clay bar at the top, clean it all off, prep the surface, and then we can finally get to the vinyl wrap. Unfortunately, it is late tonight and we're not going to get to it tonight, so we're going to fast forward to morning where we're going to start finally getting to the roof and wrapping this thing. So I think it's about morning now. And welcome back. All right, let's get started on this clay bar. So this kit we're using is from Mother's. It's a clay bar kit. It comes with 2 clay bars, instant detail spray, and a microfiber cloth. Alright, so my last step before we begin with the video is to prep the surface. And what we have here is just a real basic alcohol-based solution that we're going to spray it down and wipe, get any remaining contaminants off the surface. It's been laid real lightly on the top of the roof of the truck. We have a long way to go. Obviously, all of these wrinkles have to come out. We need to squeegee it down. Long way to go, so we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, aloha and welcome back. It is day 3. Normally a wrap like this should only take a few hours, and in all reality it's only taken a few hours. Unfortunately, with work intermittent and other things going on in the house, haven't been able to knock it all out in one time. So what we're going to do now is finish. The wrap's been applied. We're going to need to contour the angles, cut around the edges, and there's a few other areas we need to revisit and hit again. So let's knock this out, we'll get this done, and then we'll be able to see the finalized product. portion of the wrap was pretty tedious. This roof has these unique channels that run across the top of the roof line, which caused a little bit of a difficulty laying the wrap. So when it was originally laid, these channels here looked a lot like this, with all this air trapped inside and just stretching, and just became kind of a nightmare. So ended up, what I had to do was take this, pull it completely back about halfway, and work from top to bottom, really focusing in on indenting these channels and working through the channel here to prevent any air or any buildup, any wrinkles. So that took a lot of time. So next up is to do these long channels on the outsides of the roof, and then we can finally work our way to the back here, clean this all up, finish this wrap, cut it, and then call it a day. Okay, so the top's completely wrapped finally. The next step is to go around the edges, trim them, and then tuck it in the sides as much as possible. And then we'll get to the heat gun and contour that edge. But just a quick look at what it looks like so far. Alright, so that probably took way longer than it should have. But that matte black wrap from Vivid is complete. And it looks epic. Check it out. Going back to what I mentioned earlier in the video on, is this possible to do by yourself in your own garage with no experience? The answer is yes. Definitely possible to do. Two things that I would give advice on from a beginner would be, one, time. Give yourself as much time as possible to complete something like this, because the more you rush, the more you make mistakes. The more you make mistakes, the more time it takes to correct those mistakes. So in the end, take your time, give yourself enough time. The second thing, I'm going to contradict myself here by saying this, but if you have extra hands, use them. Whatever you have to do to invite your buddy over, whether it's ordering some pizza or doing whatever, get that buddy over to help you out. I don't know how many times there were points where I wish I had an extra hand or two extra hands to yank or pull or keep taut on the opposite side I was working. So if there's extra hands, anything available that you can use that. So I hope you enjoyed this upload. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time tuning in, remember to subscribe. We have lots more videos coming out soon. Thanks again. Have a great day.